Let's now continue with Article 1215. So, it says here that novation, compensation, confusion, or remission of the debt made by any of the solidary creditors or with any of the solidary debtors shall extinguish thou the obligation. First and foremost, what are these for? Novation, compensation, confusion, or remission. So, if you happen to have an advanced reading, these are some of the ways to extinguish obligation. So, meron kasi tayong, I think, 6 na ways to extinguish obligation. And 4 dito is itong nakikita nyo sa screen. Novation, compensation, confusion, or remission. So, since these are manners to extinguish the obligation, just in case any of the solidary creditors will do novation, compensation, confusion, or remission, ang epekto daw niya sa obligation is that it shall extinguish the obligation. Okay? To give you an idea, when we talk about novation, it's like a part of the obligation is change. For example, papalitan yung debtor, papalitan yung creditor, or papalitan yung prestation, either. Okay? So, magkakaroon ng extinguishment ng obligation kasi mawawala na yung dati. Okay? Na obligation. Mapapalitan na siya ng bagong obligation. So, kung dati si X ang debtor, ngayon magiging si XX na ang debtor. So, that's an example of novation. Okay? Pagdating naman sa compensation, this is the legal term dun sa common concept natin ng quits. So parang kung si A may utang kay B, tapos si B may utang kay A, pareho na amount, hindi na sila magbabayaran. Okay? Compensated na. Okay? Pagdating naman sa confusion, this is when the characters of the debtors and the creditor will be on one person. For example, si A may utang kay B, si B may utang kay C, pero si A may utang din kay A. So kung magbabayad si A kay B, ibabayad niya rin yung kay C, then ibabayad din ni C pabalik kay A. So pag ganun, magkakaroon na ng confusion or merger of rights ang other term. So there will be extinguishment of obligation. Pag remission naman, ito yung hindi mo nasisingilin para siyang condonation. Okay? So let us take a look as to how do these 4 ways of extinguishing an obligation will affect the nature of the obligation being solidary or joint. Okay, so I have here some examples. Okay, before example pala, ituloy muna natin yung provision. Sabi pa dito, the creditor who may have executed any of these acts, as well as he who collects the debt, shall be liable to the others for the share in the obligation corresponding to them. So, kunwari, ako si creditor, kinondone ko yung obligation na buo. So, kargo ko ngayon yung share dapat na makukuha ng mga co-creditor ko, etc. Okay, anyways, we have some example later on. Okay? Okay, start natin sa novation. Here, A is indebted to X, Y, and Z. Solidary creditors. Creditors to ha? For 12,000. Okay? Without the consent of Y and Z, okay, nag-usap ngayon tong sa X at A na instead of giving 12,000, papasok na ngayon yung novation, A would give his diamond ring for the same value. So, pwede ba yon? Okay? Supposedly, pwede siya on the POV of A since X, Y, and Z are what? Solidary creditors. So, X kasi can act on behalf of Y and Z. And kung hindi man magkasundo sa X, Y, and Z, doon sa sisingilin nila ngayon kay A, it's already the problem of X, Y, and Z. So as you can see here, nagkaroon ng novation na palitan yung prestation. Now, what would be the effect of this of this novation on the part of X, Y, and Z? Kasi dati, ang obligation natin, pera, maningil lang 12,000 pesos. Pero instead of that, ginawang ring. So ngayon, ang ibabayad ni A, yung ring. Okay? So, ano ngayon ang pwedeng habol ngayon ni Y sa Z? Meron bang habol si Y at C? Of course, meron. Okay? Anong sinabi sa batas? Here, the obligation to give 12,000 is extinguished by the new obligation to give the diamond ring. Nagkaroon ng substitution. X, however, may obligasyon siya ngayon na na ibigay yung share ni Y sa Z. Okay? Magkano yon? Tag 4,000 sila. Okay? Since a solidary creditor must not do anything prejudicial to his co-creditors. Kung napanood nyo sa previous video, okay, di ba sabi natin na kapag ang creditors are solidary, they must not do anything prejudicial to the other. So dito sa example natin, parang gumawa itong si X ng something that is prejudicial to Y and Z. Imbes na may pera na paghahati-hatian, itong tatlo, i-convert ngayon ni X on behalf of Y and Z nang hindi nalalaman ni Y and Z yung monetary obligation ni A into a ring. Siguro type ni X yung ring ni A. So, nagkaroon ng novation, pero at the same time, X is still, okay, liable to give the share of Y and Z. Okay, kasi wala namang kinalaman si Y and Z. Although yes, as far as A is concerned, valid yung novation. Okay, kasi solidary creditor naman si X. But as far as Y and Z, invalid yung novation, thus still, X needs to give Y and Z their share amounting to 4,000 pesos. Okay? Next, compensation. Example natin. A owes X, Y, and Z, solidary creditors, 9,000. On the other hand, ito na. Si X, may utang siya kay A na 9,000. Okay? Kaya siguro, nung siningil, kunwari, siyempre, ang pwedeng maningil dito, either X, Y, and Z. Pwede silang maningil ng buong 9,000 kasi solidary creditors sila. So, kunwari, ang nangyari, si X, siya ang naningil kay A ng 9,000. O si Y, siya ang naningil kay A ng 9,000. Or si Z, siya ang naningil kay A kay 9,000. Pero ang sabi ni X, ang sabi ni A, may utang sa akin si X na 9,000. So, pwede bang quits na lang? As to Y and Z, hindi pwede ang quits. Kasi hindi naman sila yung may utang kay A. Okay? But as to X is concerned, valid ba? Okay? Valid ba yung dahilan ni A na hindi na siya magbabayad? Okay? If both debts are due, okay, the obligations are extinguished by so-called compensation. Specifically, legal compensation kasi dapat quits na yon. Okay? So, kung tatanggi man si A na bayaran yung 9,000 kung si Y ang maniningil or kung si Z ang maniningil, pwede yon because as to A, solidary creditor naman siya. So, kung ano yung karapatan ni X, yun lang din naman yung karapatan ni Y at Z. That's why A can raise the defense of compensation. Okay? But then, since sa mata ni A, pwede yung compensation, pero sa mata ni Y at Z, hindi pwede yung compensation. Kasi nga, si X lang naman ang may utang kay A. Thus, okay, even if the whole obligation is extinguished by legal obligation, Y and Z should not be prejudiced. Okay? Thus, X must give the share of Y and Z na 3,000 each. Okay? So, I hope we're clear with that. Next is confusion or merger, okay, or merger of rights. Example, A issued a promissory note for 6,000 payable to the order of X, Y, and Z. Again, solidary creditors. X negotiated the note. Anong ibig sabihin ng negotiated the note? So, parang ginamit niyang pangbayad yung promissory note. So, ipinasa niya. Okay? It's one of the distinct characteristic kasi ng isang, what they call this? Negotiable instruments. So, a promissory note can be a negotiable instrument. So, nung nasa kamay na ni X, yung promissory note on behalf of Y and Z, pwedeng mapunta sa kamay ni X kasi nga solidary creditor sila, ang ginawa niya, ni-negotiate niya yung note to A. So, parang may binili si X kay A. Ang binayad ni X kay A is yung cheque din na, yung promissory note din na in-issue ni A. Okay? So, ngayon, ang laman kasi ng promissory note, ang nakalagay doon ay promise to pay the holder of this promissory note. Sino yung nag-promise? Si A. Sino yung holder ng promissory note? Si A din kasi na-negotiate na sa kanya. Okay? So here, the obligation of A, alangad bayaran niya yung sarili niya. Di ba? The obligation of A is extinguished. Okay, because he is now the debtor and creditor of himself. Now, okay, as to A, yun yung mangyayari. Kasi nga solidary creditors si X, Y, and Z. Ngayon, pwede bang maningil si Y and Z from X? Kasi dapat may share din sila doon. Bakit niya kasi ninegotiate ng buo? The answer is yes. Thus, X must give 2,000 each to Y and Z. Okay? Next, remission or condonation. Okay? A is indebted to X, Y, and Z, solidary creditors, in the amount of 3,000. So without the consent again of Y and Z, X condoned the debt of A. Pinatawad niya, A, wag ka nang magbayad. Okay? So as to A, the obligation is extinguished. But X, since siyang nag-condone, kinondone niya yung buo, di ba? X must still give Y and Z their share. Okay? So, parang ang ending ng sinasabi dito, so even if on the part of the debtor, on the point of view of the debtor, the obligation is extinguished. Now, doon sa mga co-creditors na hindi naman affected ng extinguishment of the obligation, they are still entitled to receive their share from their co-creditor na nag-extinguish ng obligation either through novation, compensation, confusion or merger of rights, or remission. Okay? So, yun ang sinasabi ng Article 1215. And also, solidary creditors kasi di ba? Lahat ng example na nakita natin, solidary creditors. Meaning to say, X can act on behalf of Y and Z. Okay? But everything that X must do should not prejudice Y and Z. Everything that X must do should still give Y and Z their share. Okay? Kapag hindi na nila makukuha, pwede na nilang kunin pwede na nilang kunin kay X. Okay? So that is Article 1215. Next is Article 1216. So it says here that the creditor may proceed against any one of the solidary debtors. Baliktad naman to. Okay, the solidary nature of the agreement is on the part of the debtors naman. So again, pag sinabi nating solidary debtors, each of them may be held for the whole held liable for the full held liable for the full amount. Okay? So, the demand made against one of them shall not be an obstacle to those which may subsequently be directed against the others, so long as the debt has not been fully collected. Kunwari, A, B, and C are liable for 9,000. Solidarily liable for 9,000 to X. So, si X, pwedeng maningil supposedly ng 9,000 kay A. But unfortunately, ang pera lang ni A, 3,000. So, pwede pa bang maningil si X doon kay B at C, doon sa remaining? The answer is yes. That is precisely what is being mentioned here in Article 1216, di ba? It shall not be an obstacle. Okay? Ayan. I think I have here some examples. Okay? So, as we can see here, A, B, and C are solidary debtors of X in the amount of 30,000. So, since A, B, and C are solidary debtors, they may be held liable for the full amount. So here, X may demand payment of the whole amount from either A, B, or C, or from any of two of them, or from all of them simultaneously. Kahit sino, basta mabuo yung 30,000. Okay? If he goes against A, and A pays only 5,000, yung 25,000, pwede niya pang kunin ulit kay B at C. Okay? Ganun lang. Yun lang sinasabi ni Article 1216. Next provision is Article 1217. Okay? So we have 3 paragraphs for this article. So first paragraph. Payment made by one of the solidary debtors extinguishes the whole obligation. Okay? If 2 or more solidary debtors offer to pay, kaninong bayad dapat ang i-accept ni creditor? Ang sabi ng batas, the creditor may choose which offer to accept. Okay? Basta sabay sila na nag-offer ng payment. Kasi kung sino yung unang kasi mag-apply pa rin yung rule natin na kung sino yung first among the solidary debtors ang nag-offer ng payment, yung payment niya dapat ang unang kukunin. Okay? But kung sabay, the creditor may choose which offer to accept. He who made the payment, kunwari, yung isang debtor, solidary debtor, okay, he who made payment from his co-debtors, I may claim from his co-debtors only the share which corresponds to each. Okay? Of course, kung nabayaran niya ng maaga or nabayaran niya on time, tapos yung reimbursement na ibibigay dapat ng kanyang mga co-debtors ay hindi pa naibigay sa kanya, pwede siyang maningil ng interest. Okay? Now, of course, kung the payment naman is sobrang aga na nabayaran niya nung hindi pa due, malamang wala pa dapat interest. Okay? No interest for the intervening period may be demanded. Okay? Next, when one of the solidary debtors cannot because of his insolvency. Solidary debtors to ha. Solidary debtors. Okay? Kunwari A, B, C. Yung isang debtor, kunwari, nagbayad ako ng 30,000. Yun yung buong utang. So, pwede akong maningil ng 10,000 from B, 10,000 from C. Pero, okay, anong sinasabi ni Article 17? Okay? When one of the solidary debtors cannot, because of his insolvency, reimburse his share to the debtor, ibig sabihin, kunwari si C, hindi niya na maibigay yung 10,000 kay A. Ano ngayon ang gagawin ni A? Such share, anong mangyari dun sa 10,000 ni C? That share shall be borne by all of his co-debtor. So, yung 10,000, paghahatian ngayon, 5,000 ni B at C. So, yung 10,000 na hindi masingil ni A kay C, kukuha siya ng 5,000 kay B. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng sabihin ni B na nakabayad na siya. Okay? Na okay na yung 10,000. Hindi pwede yon. Okay? Kasi yung cargo nila, yung isang solidary debtors. Kung napansin nyo kanina sa joint, no, hindi nila cargo kung insolvent yung isa. Bahala na si creditor. Pero dito, since solidary debtors, cargo nyo yung bawat isa. So, kung may isa sa inyo na insolvent, the remaining, in this case, A and B, will maghahati sila doon sa hindi mabayaran ng kanilang co-solidary debtors. Okay, I think I have here an example. Yes. So, A, B, and C, solidary debtors are indebted to X, Y, and Z. Solidary creditors also in the amount of 30,000. The debt is due on December 31. If A and B offer to pay X, X may choose which offer to accept. If X accept the offer of A, the obligation is extinguished. Okay, yun yung sa first paragraph kanina. If A made the payment on December 15, masyadong maaga kasi ang due date natin, December 31. Okay? Makaka-reimburse ba siya? Yes, makaka-reimburse siya from B and C. Only that, okay, hindi siya pwedeng magpa-interest from December 15 to 31. Okay? Pero kung January na sila nagbayad, yun. Pero from December 31 lang ang interest. If A made the payment on December 31, he can demand reimbursement from B and C, of course, with interest from December 31 until he receives the reimbursement. Ito yung second paragraph ng Article 1217 natin. Then, if A made the payment on January 10, o late payment, he can demand reimbursement, of course, from B and C. Interest lang mag-start sa January 10. Hindi naman pwedeng December 31 kasi hindi naman siya nag-abono ng December 31. Now, ito yung sinasabi ko sa third paragraph. If C is insolvent, A can demand from B the whole 15,000. 10,000 representing B's share plus 5,000 share ni B doon sa hindi mabayaran ni C, with applicable interest kung hindi makapagbayad si B agad-agad. If C later becomes solvent, naging solvent na siya, may pera na siya, A and B can each recover 5,000 plus applicable interest from him. Hindi porke insolvent ka, hindi ka na magbabayad ha. Pag naging solvent ka, your liability will arise again. Okay? So that is Article 1217. Next provision is Article 1218. Okay? Ang sabi dito, payment by a solidary debtor shall not entitle him to reimbursement from his co-debtors if such payment is made after the obligation as prescribed or became illegal. Once kasi na yung obligasyon ng mga debtors ay nag-prescribe na, ibig sabihin, nag-lapse na, masyado nang matagal, okay, hindi na parang mawawala na ng visa or naging illegal na, huwag mo nang bayaran. Okay? Pero pag after that, binayaran mo pa rin, cargo mo na yon. Hindi ka na pwedeng maningil ng reimbursement from your co-debtors. Okay? Yun lang sinasabi ni Article 1218. Article 1219, okay? Ito naman, the remission made by the creditor of the share which affects one of the solidary debtors does not release the solidary debtors from his responsibility towards the co-debtors. In this case, the debt had been totally paid by any one of them before the remission was effected. Ang sinasabi dito, di ba ang ibig sabihin ng remission from parang condonation? So, kunyari, yung isang creditor, papatawarin niya na yung isang debtor, hindi na siya magbabayad. So, anong mangyayari dun sa whole obligation? And also, anong mangyayari? Mahati ba yung obligation? Or ma-extinguish yung whole obligation since solidary debtors sila. Ang sinasabi ng batas, ganito. For example, A, B, and C, solidary liable to X. Okay? So, si X pwede maningil ng 30,000, ganon. Kay A or B or C, kasi solidary debtors sila. Okay? A pays the whole amount to X. Okay? So, later nauna yung bayad. Okay? Later, X condones the share of B. In this case, makakasingil pa rin ba si A kay B? Oo, A can still demand from B yung share niya na 10,000. Kasi nga, nauna naman yung payment bago yung condonation. Okay? Kung nauna naman yung condonation, okay, hindi, dagdagan na lang natin to. What if nauna yung condonation? X condones the share of B. So, from 30,000, for 3 persons yan, di ba? A, B, C. Kinondone ni X yung kay B. So, hindi yan magiging 15,000 each. Okay? Magiging 20,000 na lang. Mawawala na yung 10K from B. Yun yung effect ng condonation. Okay? Hindi magiging from 30,000 na tagti-10 sila, hindi magiging 15K, hindi ganon. Okay? Kasi it should not prejudice the co-solidary debtors. Okay? So, magiging 20K siya, mawawala yung share ni B. So, ang pwede na lang singilin ni X kay A ay 20,000. Okay? Yun. Kung nauna yung, yung condonation. Kasi pag nagbayad naman si A ng 20,000, yung 10K, singilin niya lang kay C. Okay? Pero dito sa slide kasi natin, ang nauna naman kasi yung payment. That's why A can still demand reimbursement from B. Another example, A, B, and C are solidarily liable to X for 30,000. X condones the share of B. O, ito na, nauna yung condonation. Accordingly, the debt is reduced to 20,000. Later, A pays X 20,000. In this case, A can recover only 10,000 from C and not from B, whose share was remitted or condoned. However, what if later on, naging insolvent si C? Okay? Anong mangyayari? Paano ngayon sisingilin ni A yung 10,000? Okay? Pwede ba siyang kumuha ng kalahati kay B? Yes. Sir, kahit na condone yung share ni B? Yes, kasi yung 5,000 naman na babayaran ni B is hindi naman share ni B, which is na condone. Share naman yun ni C na hindi na condone. Na paghahatian ni A at saka ni B. Okay? So, take note of that. So, that's Article 1219. Alright. Next is Article 1220. Okay? The remission of the whole obligation. Kasi kanina, yung mga remission lang, yung share lang nung isa. Hindi siya remission ng whole obligation. Okay? Dito naman, the remission of the whole obligation obtained by one of the solidary debtors. Pwede nyo bang sabihin, dahil sa akin, wala na yung buong utang. Bayaran nyo ako. Pwede ba yon? Anong sinasabi ng Article 1220? The remission of the whole obligation obtained by one of the solidary debtors does not, malinaw, okay, does not entitle that co-debtor reimbursement from his co-debtors. Okay, malinaw tayo dyan ha, sa 1220. Kahit ikaw pa ang naging dahilan kung bakit na extinguish, na condone yung whole obligation, you are not entitled to have reimbursement from your co-debtors. That's Article 1220. Next is Article 1221. Again, we have 3 paragraphs, right, for Article 1221. Okay? Isa-isayin natin. If the thing has been lost or if the prestation has become impossible, o loss, naging impossible, without the fault of the solidary debtors, extinguish fortuitous event. Okay? As easy as that. Now, if there was a fault on the part of anyone, okay, one of them is at fault. Since one for all for one, solidary debtors, all shall be responsible to the creditor. Hindi sila pwedeng magturuan kasi solidary debtors sila. So, dapat bayaran pa rin nung isa. Pati damage, pati interest kasi cargo nila yung bawat isa. Okay? But, as you can see on the last part of this paragraph, it is of course without prejudice to their action against the guilty or negligent debtor. Cargo nila pagdating sa creditor, pero once nabayaran yung creditor, siya ngayon ang habulin ng mga non-negligent co-debtor. Hahabulin nila yung negligent co-debtor nila. Okay? Kasi solidary nga ito cargo nyo. Okay, third paragraph. If through a fortuitous event, the thing is lost or the performance has become impossible after, okay, one of the solidary debtors has incurred in delay. Di ba kasi pag may delay, hindi na magiging effective yung extinguishment due to fortuitous event o di magiging liable pa kayo. Okay? The provisions of the preceding paragraph will apply. Ano yung preceding paragraph? Ito, yung paragraph kanina. Kung sino yung may kasalanan, kung bakit nagkaroon ng damage, okay, siyang habulin later on ng co-debtors. But as far as the point of view of the creditor is concerned, kahit sino sa kanila may kasalanan. Kahit yung isa lang ang may kasalanan. Hindi pwedeng sabihin ng isang co-debtor na yung co-debtor nilang may kasalanan, so hindi sila pwedeng singilin. Mali yun, okay? Kasi they are solidary debtors. Okay? Kung anong kasalanan ng isa, sa mata ng creditor, kasalanan nilang lahat. But of course, without prejudice to their action against the guilty or negligent debtor. So that is Article 1221. Okay? Last provision under joint and solidary obligation, okay? Article 1222, okay? It says here that a solidary debtor may, in actions filed by the creditor, okay, avail himself of all the defenses which are derived from the nature of the obligation and of those which are personal to him or pertain to his own share. With respect to those personally belong to others, okay, he may avail himself thereof only as regards that part of the debt for which the latter are responsible. Ito yung solidary debtor kayo, pero kunwari, yung isa sa inyo hindi dapat liable, so pwede mong erase yun. Kunwari, 30 mil yung utang ni A, B at C, si C, minor. So, alisin dapat yung share ni C. So, ang total lang na utang dapat, 20 mil. Okay? I think I have some examples here, but before that, let's go to dito, kinds of defenses. What are the different kinds of defenses na pwedeng gamitin ng isang solidary debtor? Okay? Illegality of object or cause. O, di ibig sabihin, wala lahat yung obligation. Okay? Kasi yung cause is mali or illegal. Or there is an absolute simulation. Ibig sabihin, parang eme-eme lang yung naging kontrata. Void dapat. Or the contract is unenforceable. Or kunwari, the share of one of the his co-debtors are unenforceable. Therefore, you can raise the defense. Parang, 30 mil yung utang namin pero yung part dapat ni A ay unenforceable. So therefore, 20 lang. Parang ganon. You can use that as a defense. Or, nagbayad naman na pala sa UCA ng 10,000. So therefore, 20,000 na lang ang natira. 20,000 na lang ang pwedeng singilin ng creditor sa isang solidary debtor. Okay? Or nagkaroon ng remission, nagkaroon ng prescription. Okay? I think I have here some examples. Alright. First, A, B, and C are solidary debtors. They owe X 27,000. A, however, was a minor at the time the obligation was constituted. So, if A is sued, pwedeng sabihin ni A, minor ako, hindi ako liable. That's a complete defense because the defense of minority is personal to A. He cannot be held liable at all even for the share of his co-debtors kasi nga minor siya. Okay? Pero that's only on the POV of A. How about on the POV of B and C? Okay? Magiging liable pa rin sila. For example, 27 divided by 3, 9,000. So, magkano may iwan? 18,000. Pwedeng singilin ni X kay either B or C. Okay? Hindi pwedeng maningil si X ng 27,000 na buo kay B at C. Kasi si B at C, pwede naman nilang erase yung defense na yung isang parte ng utang ay na pertaining kay A ay invalid. Next example, A and B owe X in solidum in the amount of 20,000. The parties stipulated that the share of A is payable on demand, while the share of B is due on Christmas Day next year. Okay? If X sues B, now, B can raise the defense na ang babayaran niya lang is yung due lang, yung 10,000 representing the share of A. Diba? Pwede niyang i-defend yon, which is 10,000. And yung share ni B, magiging due pa lang sa Christmas Day. So, pwede niya sabihin na hindi pa due yung kalahati. Kung sinabi ni X, yun naman yung share mo, kahit na. So, kahit solidarity debtor kami, kung titignan natin, ang due pa lang, yung kalahati pa lang, which is yung share pa lang ni A. So, therefore, keso si A man ang kasuhan ni X or si B, ang magiging liability pa lang is yung isang share, yung 10,000. Okay? Magkakaroon ng partial defense dito si B. Kanina dito, si A has a complete defense while B and C has partial defense. Same as true here. Okay? B has a partial defense. Okay? Now, let's add some information. Okay? What if ganitong example? A, B, and C are solidarily debtors liable to X, 27,000. A, however, was a minor. If C sued X, ang kinasuhan ni... Baliktad. If X sued C, dapat to. If X sued... Ay, tama lang pala. Mali. Okay, if C is sued by pala, okay? Kung finailan ng kaso ni X si C, anong pwedeng sabihin ni C? He can avail himself of A's minority, not as full defense, but partial defense. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na 18,000 na lang yung magiging utang ni ni B at C. Okay, maalis yung share ni A. Pero partial lang. Hindi pwedeng sabihin naman ni B or ni C na parang, ay, wala na yung buong utang. Kasi partial defense lang ang meron sa kanila. Same as true with here. Okay, A and B owe X in solidum the amount of 20,000. The parties stipulated that the share of A is payable on demand, while the share of B is due on Christmas Day next year. If A is sued by X, A can avail himself of the defense that as regards the share of B, the term has not yet arrived and thus he can be held liable only for 10,000 representing his share which is due on demand. Okay, so in Article 1222, the trick here is you look whether or not the party has a complete defense or a partial defense. Dito, si A may complete defense siya, si B at C partial defense. Dito, partial defense both si A at B. Dito, A has a complete defense, B and C partial defense. Okay? So, yun lang. If you will revisit the wordings of 1222, kung makikita nyo, ito, a solidarity debtor may in actions filed by the creditor avail himself of all the defenses which are personal to him or pertain to his own share. With respect naman sa which personally belong to others, meron kang partial defense. So first sentence pertains to complete defense. Second sentence pertains to partial defense. Okay? So I think that's all for Article 1222. Okay, so we're done with joint and solidary obligations. The next part will be divisible and indivisible obligations.